Okay, so let me try to figure this out. Is there a way I could hide this whole thing? Let's just do that. There we go. Okay. So it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I have not slept yet. But yesterday morning, um or yeah, yesterday morning I had a Google News feed. Let me preface some things really quick. 5 o'clock in the morning, I have not slept yet. I didn't set up my microphone or my main computer. I'm on my Chromebook, my Pixelbook. So hopefully this audio comes in pretty good. Pixelbooks are supposed to have really good microphones in them and whatever. Anyways, so I was um, I woke up to my Google Newsfeed just totally like repeated articles about this product that's coming. It's Kickstarter from NIM Labs, which is a Hong Kong based, I guess, product design collaborative firm, organization, whatever. I try to look them up, and it seems to be a collaborative effort with people all over the world, or so they say so on their Facebook. I don't necessarily think these people are scammers. I don't know what they're doing, but let me say Engadget, I think The Verge, a whole bunch of like tech news websites were covering this new Kickstarter. So here's an Engadget one, talking about the anniversary of the Sony Walkman, which is I think yesterday or today, 40 years, and they're promoting this. Now, we all know, or some of us know, that you can basically pay for this to happen. There's a service out there called like Help a Reporter Out or something like that hooks up news stories with reporters, but really it's this really whole shady thing that shouldn't be happening in journalism. Uh, I only understand it on a surface level. I haven't investigated this myself. I apologize for my voice again. I should have went to sleep hours ago. Um, so I was curious, and like the rest of us sheep, uh, I fell for the advertising, and I got super into this. I went to their Kickstarter, and I ended up pledging for the Kickstarter. I'm still currently pledged with the Kickstarter. It's about $75 US, including shipping. Um, so the big gimmick here is that this thing has Bluetooth 5, which is great. Um, it has, that's about it, really. With Bluetooth 5, it's got a built-in microphone. It's got this kind of neat little transparent shell design. At least the front cover, where you actually insert the cassette, is there. I'm sorry. Again, I'm very tired. This is all about a cassette player. So this is the cassette player that they're talking about. Um, they're building this device. They designed this device. Comes in 3 colors. Looks pretty cool first. Called the It's Okay, or just It's Okay. I don't know. Um, by NIM Labs, who have had success. One other successful Kickstarter in the past. Uh, good marketing campaign so far. In one day, they met their goal. It's a modest goal, about $12,000. Um, and I got a Navy one, or I pledged to get a Navy one. Uh, Looks pretty dope. But then I started noticing something, because I've seen so a little background if you don't know. If you haven't seen my channel before, I collect like vintage hi-fi shit and repair it. I have like 2 Sony Walkmans that I've repaired. I have Toshiba. I apologize. I'm so sorry. So I have a Toshiba S. I'm sorry, I have a Toshiba V11 system from the 1980s. It's very very cheap looking, but it's fantastic. It's a whole hi-fi system all in one. I have I'm looking at a Sony one right now. Um, all components. I have my Onkyo still. I have a whole bunch of shit. So yeah, I'm really into this retro stuff, hi-fi stuff. I have a cough and I also have the hiccups at the same time. It's ridiculous. So naturally, something like this, I was really, really excited for the elbow. If you don't know what that is, it's just a very, very minimalistic elbow-shaped uh, tape player, cassette player that basically just latches onto a cassette and is there's not a lot of it has a very very small footprint basically, and looks really unsafe. It's not something looks like I would want to put in my pocket. It looks like I get my tapes all messed up and dirty. But I was looking forward to it because it had integrated battery. It had some other cool stuff. But ultimately, that never got released. I'm not even sure it got kickstarted. But I was looking forward to that. So naturally, something like this, I'd be like, "Oh wow, this is dope." Bluetooth 5. It's like modern take on cassette players, portable cassette players. The only thing is, now I'm trying to focus up here. The only thing is that this is not new. The newest part about this is Bluetooth 5. So if you go all the way down to their Kickstarter page, at least they're mostly honest. I don't think they're trying to scam anyone necessarily. Again, I'm not accusing them of that. For all I know, they're a very, very legit organization. But they say that they are teaming up with a manufacturer who has 30 years experience producing cassette players. Well, cool. I found those people, and if I could just come over here, I think I found them. They're called Carwi Electronics from Hong Kong. They make the worst shit ever. So I'm just going to hit portable stereo cassette player here. And as you can tell, this is the kind of stuff you'll find on Amazon, Jensen kind of stuff. It looks, pretty gross. No one wants this in their collection. These go run for like $12. These guys are charging like $75. So big difference. So I'm going to go over here to show you a comparison. So this is the back of the Sakura version of this particular thing, which is an image I took from their right here, their Kickstarter. I want you to pay attention to these buttons here, mostly. The buttons you can see here on the left side of the screen and the right side of the screen, they immediately look kind of familiar to me. So I said, okay, I'm getting a bad feeling. Well, this is let me just zoom out of here real quick. This is the Byron Statistics cassette player, which is, I suspect, also made by Carwi. It looks like it's one of theirs. They do these like weird little variations on what is, just do weird variations on things and just re-release them like they're new. But you can see there's a lot of similarities here in the design signature. It's got the microphones, it's got the same kind style buttons. So I'm going to zoom in here again and just look at those buttons real quick. If I could just, let me just move this a little bit and then go over to the picture here. Those look pretty damn similar, huh? Like nearly identical. I'm going to go back to the thing, and here you can see again, look pretty much the same. So Alibaba, they have a lot of these. Again, they go for really cheap. Again, those buttons, that's not something that's like universal. That's a signature of a manufacturer. And you can kind of see it there. There's also that triangular microphone on both sides of these pictures. It's kind of hard to see on this one because it's black. But let's go to the, I'm going to move this guy right over here, the Byron one. Let's see if I could zoom out again and see if I can find it. So let's look at some pictures here of this one. You see that right there? Very, very similar design signature. Identical. It's not good. I mean, I guess the variation here is that the triangular microphone slot things, the holes, are upside down on one of these. Clearly, there's different ports. That's fine, but the design signature is still there. Even down here, you see the stripes near the Bluetooth on and off button. Yeah, they're there too. Those stripes. There's that little indentation too, as well. So I'm not sure I want to spend $70, $75 on something that is $12 elsewhere just for the Bluetooth compatibility. I'll tell you right now, these guys are cheap. Like, I don't just mean it's $12. I mean, it is not good quality. You get way better quality if you spent $40 on getting a budget model Sony Walkman from eBay. And I mean, honestly, if you have the know-how, you can repair it yourself and everything's good. That's what I do. Of course, that takes a little bit of technical understandings and a little bit of dexterity, and just being organized when you take these things apart and put them back together so you don't lose any pieces or screws. I've had some horror stories with that, but it is never worth getting these newer models, these Chinese and Hong Kong made models. It's really, really not worth it. And it's definitely not worth $60, $70. Let me just look at some other things. I'm basically done. That was it. I'm not trying to make this a whole scandal, but I commented. I asked some things to the manufacturer, or not the manufacturer, but the people who were running the Kickstarter. I said, hey, this. At first, it was just kind of a question of, hey, can I? What's the type select? How does that work? There's type 1, 2, 3, 4 tapes. This goes for like ferric, chrome, and metal, and all that other stuff. So I was just kind of curious to try to understand how they're designing this thing, how they want to, or what I can expect, for my $60-something, $75. Well, my question's answered here. What is this? Type selectors radio. So my question is basically answered here. The bias. Okay, now I have to see what this is because I don't know what VOS means. So there's no bias selection, tape type selection, and that's because these things are super cheap. They're ultra cheap. They're not going to sound good. And there's a video here of this girl, I think, using the recording function on that device, and the playback doesn't sound great, but they kind of have it really low, so it's not immediately obvious, but it is not going to be good. So there's no reason for a record button or a microphone on this thing. Portable cassette players probably should just stick to being cassette players, but also it's just not good. If you look at any one of these kind of identical rebranded cassette players on Alibaba, Wish, Amazon, or eBay, the reviews are really, really bad. And that's with really, really good reason. These are not good devices, frankly. So this one has 3 stars. The fact that it managed to get 3 stars is amazing. But oh man, I could just hit the pink one real quick and show you how freaking identical these are. Um, so you see, it's got the same signature. It's not quite the exact thing, because over here you could kind of see that top right screw is a little higher on the. See, it's kind of more towards the corner, but that might just be kind of them cutting corners to actually make this thing appear more portable and thinner, give it a smaller footprint, which is great. Here's another one. This is definitely Carwi. It's the same deal, man. It's got the same shaped buttons. I mean, the whole thing. The only big difference is that these guys have these transparent docks, I guess, for your cassette, which, again, admittedly, is pretty cool. But if it's not going to play cassettes very well, it's not worth it. I don't think it's worth the Bluetooth 5. I don't think it's worth your money. It also, the thing that set me off was immediately like, why did they go with double A batteries? Why would they do that if they're trying to make this thing look and even have some more modern present day features like Bluetooth? Why would you do that? Because the thing that was really, really exciting about the Elbow when that was announced was that it was going to be completely USB chargeable. I think that's dope. I would love to see new quality tape players and even new quality record players, which there are some, that have these features and have these amenities and fit in with our more tech dependent lives. Like, I'm cool with that. I love my old stuff, of course, but I mean, Bluetooth is pretty dope. I'd be okay with Bluetooth on an active speaker, streaming directly to that active speaker. That's cool. I especially like the idea because I actually do use my portable Sony Walkman. I think I have an AF22, and I've got a more expensive model. But these things I do actually use in my car. I put an auxiliary cable in, and they sound pretty decent. This thing is not going to sound good doing that. You could put you could have future tech in this device, and it's just not going to sound good because of the manufacturer, who I suspect is going to be Carwi. Again, Carwi has also 30 years experience. Let's go back to their website real quick and go to their About Us. Again, they mentioned, so it's 2019 now. 1989 is when this was a thing. So that's exactly 30 years, unless my math is wrong. I'm very tired. Let me let me actually just get my calculator out real quick. And 2019 minus 1989. That is 30 years. So that's not okay. That makes me feel weird. I don't like this manufacturer. I'm not saying I know for sure it's Carwi that's going to be manufacturing this stuff. I asked them that after asking them about, why would you go with the AA batteries and not an internal cell phone battery? They haven't responded yet. I haven't given enough time to respond, to be fair. But I'm making this video because this is bothering me. I cannot go to sleep unless I make this video. So don't get this. If you want to, fine. If you're willing to take that risk, I'm going to cancel my pledge right after this video. I'm not trying to make a huge deal about this. I'm not trying to make this a huge controversy. I just think people have the right to know. And again, I don't know, but I have a very, very, very good suspicion that this is the case. We're talking about a Hong Kong-based Kickstarter, and they're talking about 30 years manufacturer of really, 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 really bad cassette players that sell for about $12 anywhere. And then these guys, again, of course, want to charge you much, much more. I'm not saying it's a scam. I'm not saying they have any bad intentions. Of course, anyone making a profit, depending on what roles people are playing in any interaction. Like, yes, you could say that, you could characterize them however you'd like, but I'm just saying I'm not comfortable with this Kickstarter. I'm not comfortable with this product because it really does feel like it's going to be a very, very, very poor quality device. Despite how cool it looks, and it does look ultra cool. I like that you can see the inside. I like that you can see your tapes playing. That's pretty dope. Bluetooth, I could live without it. It's not the most important thing. In fact, I was really hoping that it had a USB charging. That would be even cooler. But, I'm not the one who's designing this. I'm not the one this is not my Kickstarter. So, and they reached their goal in one day. They exceeded their goal in one day, which is really impressive. But I know there's a lot of people out there who are getting into cassettes, and they're getting into, they're trying to figure out how to best play their cassettes. A lot of people have bad experiences with like the Jensen and RCA cassette players and the Crosleys and all that other stuff, because they will eat up your tapes and destroy. I remember I put my I had a cassette since I was a child. It was a Thin Lizzy, and it was the album that has Dancing in the Moonlight, and that's such a great song, and I love Thin Lizzy, and I love this cassette, and it was in such great shape. I put it in a Crosley or whatever it was. They all look the same. They're all those like vintage looking all-in-ones, and I put it in there, and it chewed it up, cut the tape itself. I didn't even have to like do anything. The tape was just gone. It was dead. It ate it up. It chewed it up in ways that I didn't think was possible. Why I put it in there, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think this is like, I thought we're past the 90s where they started making all these really, really cheap cassette players. And that's when everyone was like tossing cassettes out the window, and you'd see cassette tapes all over the road, and their little tapes, guts all out, like miles of the stuff. And I thought we were just past that. But apparently, no one's designing good tape players these days. So you have to get old ones. I go to pawn shops all the time. I find some quality ones for like $9. I fix them up, and they go for like, in working condition, some of them go for like $200, $300 on eBay. So, it's a hobby that's really, really cool. And I love old tapes. I've restarted a tape collection, and it's getting pretty big now. I'm very excited for like any new device that comes on the market, because I would love to play, those tapes. But unfortunately, on new devices, with the expectation that one of these devices is going to hit the mark and say, hey, like, we have quality heads, we have quality everything. The flywheel or whatever they're using, I don't care if it's portable or not. I'm trying to end this rant. I'm sorry. But I can't get behind this. I can't get behind this Kickstarter. I'm actually going to not, I'm going to, after this video, I'm done out of this Kickstarter. In less than 24 hours, I was just like, no. I was really, really hesitant to back it in the first place, because I just didn't think it was possible to make a quality tape player, Walkman style tape player, in 2019. I just don't think it's possible. It's not impossible, but I don't think anyone out there who has the ability to make these quality things, like Sony, it would be really cool if Sony on the 40th anniversary of the Walkman came out with a new Walkman. But they have investors and they have, I mean, they want to make a profit. I get it. It's okay. I can stick with the old stuff, hoping that it still works in 20 years. But I can't get behind this. That's all I gotta say. I'm done. If you need any more evidence, you could just Google this stuff. Carwi. You could Google portable cassette players on Amazon, Alibaba. I mean, you have to look for these things. You have to look for the design signatures. You have to look for just similar features. This one, the It's Okay. I'm going to keep calling it the It's Okay, but it's okay. Well, first off, it's not okay, I don't think. But it looks different. This thing shouts like cool at you. Whoever took the reins and I guess NINM Labs, they looked at, I guess, just a regular old tape deck, and or not old tape deck, but an old, not even old, one of the newer cassette players, and said, hey, we can make this look cooler. You know what's wrong with Carwi, you know what's wrong with your tape players is that they look like they're from the 90s, and no one actually wants that because they has a lot of bad connotation. Let's make this more, I don't know, the first thing that comes to mind for some reason is Nintendo, like with the clear controllers and stuff like that. But let's do this, let's make it look more hip. And they succeeded at making it look hip. I mean, this color scheme, this is when I ordered. This reminds me of like Metal Gear Solid, like with the yellow and the dark colors. It's pretty dope. Again, I like it aesthetically. I like the idea of this, but I got to back off because it's not good. I'm not going to play any of their stuff because I don't want to get copyright striked. I don't know how these guys, I don't think they're going to get upset about this. And I hope they don't. And I just hope they make a better product. And, not even that. I hope that their product is good. I wish them luck. I wish luck to all the people who backed this Kickstarter. Again, these are very pretty colors. Very, very. My problem is I feel like that's all they designed was the color schemes of these things and the shell, like just the front shell, the cover. I'm gonna feel like until this comes out and people are screaming that it's awful, if that's the case, I'm gonna feel pretty much like I'm missing out on something. But I know in the back of my head, this is a really, really, really bad purchase. So I'm gonna say no. Said that like 12 times now. One touch recording system, built-in microphone. AA batteries. Again, that was the thing that really got me, was the AA batteries. I maybe they think it's cute, retro, whatever, but like it's not. It's really not. We don't need to be going to the store buying batteries all the time for new technology. So yeah. That's all I had to say. I'm gonna stop this video, and hopefully it came out correctly, and hopefully I didn't waste too much time. And now I can go to sleep. Thanks for listening.